Purposely. Your life, God's purpose. Listen at onpurposely.com.
The arrival is rarely the thing that we talk about the majority of the time. It's usually the trip to get there is what we tell stories about. But it's the thing that we want to happen the fastest and to move past it and to get on with it. Even this conversation is a good reminder to go, all right, hey, what is it in this moment that you can learn from? And, I mean, obviously a faith journey, a trust journey, a letting go journey for me.
That's our guest this week, David Leonard, on the Passion Meets Purpose podcast, where we really just explore those unique ways that God has gifted you and how you use those talents to give back to the world. David is a wonderful example because not only is he a gifted singer-songwriter on his own, but also he loves to be behind the scenes, working with others, bringing out their best gifts and talents. And I think you're going to hear some familiar names as we talk about some of the projects that he's currently working on. So I do want you to get to know a little bit more about David as we start, though. So tell us a little bit about where you came from.
Yeah, I'm born in Southeast Arkansas. Ended up going to college in the northwest corner, John Brown University. Started a band there. Started a band called Jackson Waters. And ended up signing a deal with Word Records back in 2005. Moved out to Nashville. Did the whole thing for a little bit. And that ended. Then in 2008, started playing keys for Need to Breathe. Did that for a few years, and then during that time, started writing songs from our church. Me and a friend of mine, Leslie Jordan, we started a band called All Sons and Daughters, and so we did that for 7 or 8 years, and then that ended in 2017. Kept writing songs and producing, and now doing my own thing.
For someone that heard a little record scratch when they're like, "Oh, cool, you played keys and Need to Breathe." If someone were to say to you, like, how could I go about getting that opportunity? Would you say, get stuck in an elevator?
That would be my number one answer. Yeah. Back in 2000, man, that would have been 2006, I think. We used to have GMA week where everybody would come in and they would do all their radio interviews. We'd do showcases. We'd do all kinds of stuff. And we would have it at the Renaissance Hotel. And so there were, everybody was there. That was like the time where you always got to see everybody. And so we were there, and I ended up, me and my whole band, we were trying to get up to the 10th floor or something. And this elevator opens up, and it's Need to Breathe in there. And then this other band after Edmund, and then some random radio person, which I wish I knew who it was. So there were 16 of us in this elevator, and we tried to go, and it was not going. And so we fell below like a couple floors. We were like in between floors, and we were stuck in there for like 45 minutes. And that's how I joined Need to Breathe.
It's just such a good story. Was there a moment, who was the one that was most freaked out?
I mean, I don't know if everybody was freaked out. I think we were all annoyed because there was condensation rolling down the wall. It was hot in there. And, you get 15 dudes in an elevator and it's sweaty. It's not a good situation.
And so that is literally how you got to play in Need to Breathe. And I feel like a little bit of those Need to Breathe vibes in your new song, Good Lord, which is still my favorite song on the station. This is your first time you've had a song like do this on radio. How are you feeling about that?
I mean, I feel blessed that I'm still around doing this thing. I talk about the music industry being this kind of like that whole game of like you put your hand on the car and whoever takes their hand off the car last wins kind of situation. And I just feel like I've kept my hand on the car, and it's just been really beautiful to see how people have come around it and how people are reacting to the song. And, I just turned 40 years old. So I'm like, what am I doing still putting out music? Does anybody even still care? And it's been beautiful because people still do. And they still, I still feel like God's given me something to say. And it's been a lot of fun.
Not only do they still care, you're making some of the best music of your career.
Come on. Come on. I'll receive that.
Didn't you post something on your Instagram where your daughter was singing along to Good Lord, requesting it on the radio?
Yeah, I think so. I've posted a bunch of videos of, they were singing it the other day. I think they were riding back in the car or something, and all of a sudden it came on, which is a pretty cool thing.
Another thing that you do that's very much behind the scenes is you help a bunch of artists. I'm gonna list some names, okay? If I say one that's not on your list, let me know. But I think all these people, you have had something to do with either songwriting with them or producing a single or an album. I Am They, Third Day, Brandon Heath, Matt Maher, co-wrote Greater You Lord with Jason Ingram, Mercy Me's new single, Then Christ Came, Ellie Holcomb's project, Katie Nicole, Josh Baldwin, Kane's worship record, Cody Carnes, Michael W. Smith. I'm sure I missed some, but 10th Avenue, and then of course All Sons and Daughters. Is that yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all yeses. I was afraid I was going to have to call you out on one, but no, those were all yeses. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. I mean, how do you get in each space when you're working with each of those artists to really understand what they want to create and then how you can come and support them in that?
Yeah. I mean, I think all those people that you named off are all pretty special people, and they all kind of carry this, this beautiful thing. And I think me being an artist, I have learned to understand and appreciate what someone has to say and who they write songs for. And so when I get to come alongside them from a production side or from a writing standpoint, it's just simply trying to get in their space, trying to get in their world of figuring out who they write for, and then let's just write a song, or we're trying to create something that's going to connect. And I've always loved the collaborative effort of making music, and I feel blessed that I've got to do it for this many years and with so many amazing people.
Charles from your record label and I have a theory on why you're so good at this. And we think the first thing is because you really value community.
I do. I think because I have gone for years without it. You know, I think when you have moments where you're creating in isolation, or you feel like you have to do stuff alone, I think once you do have that moment of doing it out of community, I think it's an experience that is unlike any other. And I think I saw that, and I was like, I never want to go back to the other. And I think that's a thing, is like, I've kind of vowed on a mission to show people that creating in community is worth it. And I think so much of music nowadays is created in isolation. And so we're trying to change that. Even with starting, making records the way we did it, me and two of my buddies, Seth Talley and Brad King, we started this thing called the Creek Music. And it was just simply like a revolving door of people. Like anybody where they were on the journey could come hang out at the studio or whatever. And we just wanted to create a place where everybody felt welcome and everybody felt like they could come in and get something. And I love it.
And spoiler alert, we're going to talk a little bit more about that toward the end of the podcast on the next way that's going to happen. But I want to stick with this track of Charles from your label and me. We're talking about this. He thinks that the other reason that you are so great at coming along artists and helping produce is because you don't want to be the center of attention, and you are a really great listener. He says that your strength is one-on-one. You really want to get to know someone, want to get to know their story, and you're soaking it all in. Yeah.
I mean, Charles should know I spend a lot of time with him in the car. I don't know. I value people. I value getting to hear stories. It never gets old to me. We're all kind of on different paths and different journeys, but if you listen, you tend to find the common threads, and I love that. I love it.
Let's talk about a couple of these specific songs. Let's do some of the more recent ones, like Mercy Me, their song, Then Christ Came.
Yeah, I mean, that started as a song. Me and Bart and Mike started writing. Man, that's probably at least 2 years ago. And then ended up bringing in Ingram and Phil Wickham and finished it. And yeah, it's been really beautiful to kind of see that. It's one of those that I thought that it might not ever see the light of day. And so when they did come and they're like, hey, it's going to be a single, my mind was blown, because obviously I grew up going to camps where Mercy Me was leading worship. And, so when I started singing and I started leading, I would play I Can Only Imagine every time, guaranteed. So, to be able to work with them and to call them friends, they have become friends. And, it's been really fun, and I'm excited. I love the song. I think it's a great song. I'm excited for them. I'm excited for it to get out.
And not just friends. You bought Bart's golf cart.
You got all the dirt. Where'd you get all this dirt from? Who you been calling?
That's not dirt. Did he give it to you for a deal?
Dirt, no.
I heard that he said sold as is, no takebacks.
Yeah, his kids probably ran it in the ground a couple times, but yeah, no, it was a good deal. We have a lot of fun with it.
Let's talk about Kane's worship record, which I want all the exclusive, because that thing's not even released yet. I know that you love harmonies, so it must be a dream to work with those three.
Oh, man. I mean, it is, you can tell them any song and they can split it into 3-part, like at any second. They are prepared and ready. I love working with Kane. I got to work on the last album. And then I produced I'm So Blessed, which is their single that's out right now. And they're just amazing people. They love so well. And this record's going to be really beautiful to be able to show that side of them, just the worship side, and being able to connect that way. So me and Jonathan Smith and Brad King, the guy that do all the studio stuff, we're all kind of producing it together. And it was a beautiful night, and it captured beautifully, and so can't wait to get it out.
With Josh Baldwin, he also golfs. You can take him for a spin in your golf cart.
Yeah.
What would you define as a producer? Like, how are you going to produce one of his tracks? Like, what is he going for?
I mean, Baldwin has become a really, really great friend. We live in the same neighborhood. We hang out all the time. I talk to him. He's the guy that I call on the drive home just to see what he's doing for the day or whatever. But yeah, for him, he is such an amazing songwriter, and an amazing communicator when he sings and when he plays. I think the big thing with him is just getting out of the way of the song. It's allowing the song to be what it is. And, he doesn't sing it if he doesn't believe it, and he doesn't write it if he doesn't believe it. So, it's just it's an honor to be his friend and to be his buddy and to be, have a front row seat of what God's doing in his life. And, this new record's going to be beautiful.
I love that you guys live in the same neighborhood. Who's the better lawn maintainer?
I think we actually share the same lawn guy. So.
Oh, okay. The Passion Meets Purpose podcast is made possible thanks to our friends at Northwest University. Ensuring a welcoming spirit for you at Northwest University, your tuition remains lower than all other Christian schools in Washington. And NU is all in on tech. They've got a brand new state-of-the-art technology studio, and majors include UX design, data science, video production, audio production, and computer science. This is in addition to an already diverse offering of business, nursing, education, sciences, communication, psychology, music, and humanities. Northwest University is a faith-based community, Christ-centered in all they do. At Northwest University, your future isn't canceled. It's just beginning. Are you ready to tell us about this place that you found that's going to be a studio and the way that it happened? I'm so excited to hear.
Yeah, I mean, so we had a studio for like 8 years. We had this little house in downtown Franklin. And it was beautiful. I mean, all those records you were talking about, was created in this little house. And so many memories, but we had kind of outgrown it about 5 years ago. And we kept looking and kept looking and kept looking and ended up finding a little church in downtown Franklin. And we ended up buying it, and we're redoing it into the new studio. And it's a lot to bite off, but I feel like it's going to be so worth it, especially from that communal side. Like we're directly across the street from the Boys and Girls Club, and so we're partnering with them and another organization here in Franklin called Franktown, and where we're doing like internship with kids and like kind of mentorship programs. And it's going to be a sweet space. It's a twitch in my eye right now because we just haven't been able to get it done. But Lord willing, this thing's going to come along this year.
Is that a hard place for you to be? Is that in between?
Yeah. I mean, isn't that for everybody?
I think I was just talking about this with my husband because he doesn't like to be in the in between because we're like talking about like moving or or staying. And I guess I'm okay with the gray. I'm like, if it happens, if the Lord brings it about. So I sort of just wait, but for him, doesn't like it. So I'm curious more about that personality quality in you that doesn't like to be in the in between.
Well, this is also the part, and I talk about this often, but like, the arrival is rarely the thing that we talk about the majority of the time. It's usually the trip to get there is what we tell stories about. But it's the thing that we want to happen the fastest and to move past it and to get on with it. And so I think it's even this conversation is a good reminder to go, all right, hey, what is it in this moment that you can learn from? And I mean, obviously a faith journey, a trust journey, a letting go journey for me in this whole thing. And I'm ready to see it. Lots of dreaming, but it's going to be awesome.
Well, that part I totally understand. Like if I know we can't like say what next year or 5 years from now would look like, but if the pictures you have in your mind's eye, can you describe what this studio, what's the name of it? We named it?
It's going to be called the Tabernacle.
Okay. What would the Tabernacle look like 5 years from now in your hopes and dreams?
Man. I mean, the hope is that it's just this beautiful communal hub for people to feel safe and to feel like they can come in and forget about everything else and just create, whether it's music, art, whatever, just letting it be a communal hub for creativity.
And whose dream is this with you? Did you already say?
Yeah, me and Brad King, the guy that do all this.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Charles, when I was talking with him earlier, he said that your goal is you just want to write songs that help people be closer to Jesus.
I mean, I think we all desire to feel this connection with God. And I think music is this interesting thing that kind of crosses all lines and allows us to connect without rules. And I think the way we get to do that and the way we get to craft songs and the way we get to put down what's on our heart and what's coming out of our soul is a really beautiful thing. And sometimes it looks like connecting people to God. Sometimes it looks like being really honest and desiring God to show us things that we don't see ourselves. And I think for me, just creating that space of being able to live in that moment of the gray, of being okay to be where you are. But I think music has been one of those places for me that's pulled me out of those. And I continue to see it even with the songs I'm releasing now, just with responses back and see how people have connected with it. And that for me is is it? It's like, why else do we do this? It's really fun to play shows. Yeah, it's great. It's fun to have people listen to it. But when people have their lives changed because of it, when people make decisions that will shift the outcome of their life, I think that's everything.
That's it right there. So good. David, thank you so much for your time. Our thanks to Provident Label Group and Sony BMG with Charles Van Dyke for setting up this interview. Our thanks to Rebecca Beckett and Luke Swanberg, who are part of our content team, and of course our producer, Scott Caro. And thank you as always to you for listening. We will link you up to Purposely Podcasts, where you can find other great content about the gifts and talents that God has put into your life and how you can use those to give back to the world. My name is Sarah Taylor. I'll see you again in 2 weeks.